Hey, Shay Sharm here. I wanted to do a video about how to handle fear when it comes to dealing with the coronavirus, but just how to handle fear in general. Most of us aren't necessarily well equipped for that. We spend our lives avoiding fear. This is what I honestly think what the biggest problem with the personal development industry is about, because everyone's always trying to reframe, trying to create positive mindsets and stuff like that. And what they're actually doing is they're actually numbing themselves to themselves. They're numbing themselves to fear, and they aren't embracing the aspects of who they are, all in an attempt to feel better momentarily. So this is a video about really two methods on how to handle fear. And if you think someone really would benefit out of it, please let them share it to them straight away. There's we are in this together, and it's really important that we do handle fear, and so that way we can act very logically, calmly when it comes to dealing with the virus and being self-isolated at home. This is not a cure, as in this is not going to cure the virus. But what this stuff in this video will do is help you as a person handle what's going on, regardless of your condition, and also more importantly, help you be more calm and more focused, so that way you can help other people who probably aren't as calm and more focused. Now, the first thing about fear, which is what most people are doing, so if you're doing this already, keep this up. In the same way that they're talking about flattening the curve, they've got the curve, there's the height, and then there's the one where we spread it out. Handling fear, it's completely okay to drop your weights. Now is the time that if you play a lot of video games, if you have a lot of distractions, it's okay to do all those things. I don't know if you've ever had any judgments around that, or you try and be very productive. Now is the time to allow yourself to have distractions, if you've ever stopped yourself. Because handling fear is about surrendering to it. And we're going to talk about that's the second thing and the most important thing. Handling fear is about surrendering to it. It's about being able to feel it and owning it. And as a result, sometimes it's a little bit too much. Especially in this current condition, we are constantly bombarded by the news. This is the end, or not really. So it's just really important that when you are dealing with your emotions, that you are being graceful to yourself. So if you have distractions, things that make life a bit easier in the meantime, that's important. Call friends, have hangouts online. Your personality is one of the best ways you can help other people right now, because it hasn't got to the point where we're all infected yet. Oh my god. But it's really important that we look after each other. The second thing that I want to share is just with all my work, and even I've got a mentor and stuff like that, there is one of the greatest ways to actually handle fear is to relinquish its power over you. So, for example, if you think about when you're afraid versus when you're not, you probably prefer not being afraid, because when you're not afraid, you generally are quite logical, quite calm. You can see, okay, cool. People are saying social distancing, let's do social distancing. It's completely okay. Rather than social distancing, how dare they? Everything's shutting down. Because we get really upset, we get angry when we lose control. And especially we get angry at someone else when someone else takes control over us. And the one thing that this virus has brought a very, I guess I would say, a positive effect is that it's shown that we are all susceptible to the same things. We're all on this journey together. So I would say, at least for once, at least for the people who are thinking about it this way, we're in it together. There isn't necessarily a war that we're fighting against other people. I'm very curious, I haven't looked it up yet, to see how different fighting actual politics have changed during this time being. But in the meantime, now, if people really want this, comments below, and I'll do a meditation session. I'll do live meditation sessions. I haven't started it yet because I don't know who wants it and who doesn't want it. But the general idea here is that we want to surrender to our fear. That is, that we make the time to feel it. That we reduce the barriers that we have to it, and I'll explain how this and why this works in a second. We reduce the barriers that we have to it, so that way we as a person become better friends with it. You can do this through meditation, you can do this through active feeling and just introspection. But you'll notice what happens is most of the time we don't like it. There's like, oh, I don't want to be afraid, or I don't want to feel this emotion. It doesn't really happen just also with fear. Sometimes it would be with pain, anxiety, stress, that we don't want to feel these feelings. So we actually create this entire world around us that stops us from feeling it, things that numb us, right? And so what I find is really interesting is that when you surrender to the fear, it changes. Your body learns how to handle it. You grow past it. It no longer has control over you. There's an element of self-mastery here. And self-mastery, emotional mastery, life mastery is sort of what this is all about. There is, when you surrender to fear and say, all right, I'm going to be afraid right now. I'm feeling afraid. I don't want to feel afraid. I'm going to feel afraid right now. You are actually trusting yourself. You are trusting yourself that no matter what happens, you will get it done. And you are surrendering to yourself. You are giving yourself the gift of self-trust, self-love, self-power, all of the selves that people talk about online, but no one fucking knows how to do. This is where we allow ourselves to experience the light and the dark. This is where we allow ourselves to experience everything that we're afraid of experiencing, emotionally, not physically. Where we allow ourselves to be the person we're meant to be, which I would argue for most people isn't someone who's afraid. It's someone who's calm, collected, acts rather than reacts, is in control. But sometimes in order to gain control, we have to surrender control. We have to allow ourselves to be ourselves. And sometimes we have to just let go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you think someone you know would like it, send it to them. We've got to spread this message. And I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.